This is Sizzling, powered by Fit to Be Trained, coming to you from the Deep End Broadcasting Network studios here in the lovely Virginia Beach, Virginia, the United States of America. You can find this programming on deependbroadcasting.com and subscribe to this network's YouTube channel, Deep End Broadcasting. Want to be part of the 30 or 60-day transformation? You can find Karen, a.k.a. Sizzle, on any of her social media platforms at Fit to Be Trained. Here's your host of Sizzling, Karen Doherty.
Sizzling in Chicks Beach. I'm excited for tonight. Before I introduce my guest, I just have to say something to Steve quickly. He's a big football person, and football is on the scene. And I have to mention the Eagles played the Cowboys on Thursday night on opening night. What did you think, Steve? And Kasha, you can interject anytime, even though I haven't introduced you yet. But the Eagles beat the Cowboys.
Kasha Winston, our guest. Let's see here. What do I think right off the bat on that? The Eagles are missing a lot of defensive players that they had last year. That's one. And the Cowboys, I think it looked a little bit better than I think a lot of people anticipated them looking. So
wow,
it's only
good.
week one.
All right, on.
But really, there's a lot in the NFL that's kind of upside down right now. There's about 10 teams that you can ask them, what the hell have you been doing for the last 4 or 5 months of practice? Because there's a lot of bad football this last weekend. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in week 2.
I'm happy for you, Steve. I know this is your time. And I am happy for me tonight because I've been wanting this guest. And Steve, you and I have talked about this guest, maybe even on podcast number 1, because this guest is my bodybuilding coach, and she took me to a win. Yes. I'm wearing her t-shirt, or it's not a t-shirt, tank top. I know, right? So, and I've had this podcast for a year now, Kasha. I don't know if you know that, or coming up on a year. And I was just intimidated to get guests on for a little while, but I always knew who I wanted. And I was like, I'm going to ask my bodybuilding coach. Like, you can probably hear it in like podcasts.
I can hear it, and I'm very flattered that you
1 or 2. And can you believe it took me this long, which is a little embarrassing because it was because of intimidation.
I have that reputation, and I'm not sure why.
And I love this lady, okay? But I'm intimidated a little bit once in a while, and I don't know. Can you believe it took me this long? Like, it's bizarre. But anyway, here, let me introduce her. Other than there's so much more to her. I was introduced to Kasha because she's kind of famous in my town of Virginia Beach for taking for her own career in bodybuilding, but taking people to a win. And my girlfriend, Karen Edge, who was even on this podcast for nutrition reasons, told me, I said, I'm thinking about a bodybuilding show. I'm 54 or whatever I was. You think it's too late? She goes, oh, hell no. You got to get this girl, Kasha Winston, blah, 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 blah. And so I did. And you emailed me right back for like this lady.
I want to support you. I love that you're doing this. It's awesome.
Well, you emailed me right back in the day when I wanted to do the contest too.
Yes.
I mean, you are a girl that's on it, and just
I'm a results oriented coach. Yes.
There's so much about you though that people don't know that I really wanted to share. And the reason why I even started this podcast, Kasha, is because Steve, my great friend here, said you should do this podcast. And at first I was like, I don't know. And then I thought about it, slept on it, and God's like, what are you, an idiot? Of course you do this. So I did this, and I've had women trainers, women influencers, women in the business, so we could talk about who we are. Like sometimes I felt like we don't often get a voice to talk about other things that we are other than just fitness trainers. And some of us just want to talk about fitness. And some of my podcasts have been like that. But the thing about you is, yes, she has a career in bodybuilding, and I can't wait to ask you a couple questions about that. But there's also, you have a career with animals. You have such an expansive life that I probably would have to have you on more than once to get through all the stuff and all the accolades that you have in the animal world too, which is fascinating. Like I sent Steve some pictures prior, right before we sat down, because I'm like, you got to know there's more about this girl. She's wrestling an alligator or a crocodile.
An alligator.
You know, so just like cool little fun facts about you. And this is audio. Like granted, they see us when we're on YouTube, but I just wanted to go over other things about who Kasha Winston is, and that I was lucky enough to train with you. And yes, you took me to a win. This is a woman's physique over the age of 40, first place, Karen Doherty, number 67. Thank you, Kasha Winston. And I can't thank you enough for that. Steve, you can do the clapping hands if you want. Woo!
Was this the one during COVID?
Yeah.
I do have that picture on file.
I know, that's a great picture, isn't it? I mean,
You need to
wish
do
I
a
looked
howl,
like that.
Steve.
I wish I looked like that every day, but whatever. Not, you know, it was such a good time, and you're such a great trainer. But I want to talk about the training beyond humans tonight. But first, let's introduce my coach, my friend, Kasha Winston. Woo! Bodybuilding legacy. And
being my friend is the greatest gift of all to me.
well, I haven't been a very good friend to almost anybody. I've been kind of out of the loop for a little while now, for a couple years, and I'm trying to make a comeback, just like kind of touch base with people. And I apologize that my way of touching base with you was like, let's go on YouTube and Spotify and Apple and do a podcast. But I didn't want to wait any longer to have you on as a guest. And yes, I want to resume all my like getting out in the world, my friendships. I'm trying to reach out to people. I just was, you know how life is, it kind of takes you in and it takes you out. So I'm back, and let's talk about you though. Tell me, what did first inspire you to step into the world of bodybuilding yourself, like your own career? And you were doing bodybuilding when bodybuilding was real, and it was real hard. And not that it isn't now, it's just that we have all the apps and we have a lot more tools, and it was just a different world.
Well, when I stepped into bodybuilding, it was very unliked, and very odd for people. And my models at the time were Bev Francis, not so much the Corey Everson or the Rachel McClish, because I grew up on a farm. I was throwing around bales of hay and bags of feed and all that good stuff, and riding horses and showing dogs. And so I just naturally was physical, and I love being physical and being outdoors. And then I got into a swimming career. And luckily for me, my coach, again, was an oddity. She believed in weightlifting for swimmers, which was a big no-no at that time. And when I first hit the weights, that was it. And then on top of that, I had the good fortune of running into a man in the gym. He introduced himself, and I looked him up, and it turned out he was Mr. USA. And he kept encouraging me and telling me that I had the genetics to be a great bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And at first I was kind of like, and so I looked up this bodybuilding stuff, and I fell in love. And one thing led to another. He at one point he told me he had entered me into a contest, and I took second, and that was it. I was hook, line, sinker. I was done. And
Yeah.
so, but
Yeah.
like you said, life gets in the way. And I was in college, and I got a law degree, got an animal behavior degree, and the animals kind of won out, even though I did do asbestos litigation for a while.
Oh wow, that's fascinating, actually.
I know. Did you hear that? Like, I didn't know if she was going to mention that, and I wasn't sure because you're the guest, but yeah, did you hear that, people? She has a law degree, so there's so much more to her. Okay, keep going.
But I really wasn't. I did. It was hard because it was sad. And so any place there was a deposition, I would either go because there was a bodybuilding show or there was a dog show. And then I got into, I worked with wolves because I met Eric Klinghammer, who started the Wolf Park in Indiana. And he and I were both doing Schutzen at the time, which is a dog sport. And he had shepherds, I had Bouviers and Malinois. And he invited me to do a research project, and it was in Ely, Minnesota. And so after that, I was really done. I needed to continue to work with animals. So currently, I train service dogs. I rehab horses that are off the track racing thoroughbreds or other horses that have behavior problems, and make them adoptable, basically. And I love all that. And I competed in obedience, agility, musical, freestyle, therapy work. So my dogs are all therapy certified, and then I do a lot of behavior work, and I take in animals that have issues and fix them, basically, and work with them. So that's really, that was my inspiration to get started.
Well, that's the thing. Like okay. See how much was just spun off in that short period of time. Okay, like I got to make sure my timer's on because this is going to be good and I can get down a rabbit hole with you. I want you to kind of go back. Okay, so you started bodybuilding. You always were animals. So you always, like, you grew up on a farm. What state were you in? Were you Virginian?
No. I was Wichita, Kansas, and Elmira, New York.
Okay, cool. All right. So that was first. That was already in your blood. So the bodybuilding just kind of happened because you met this guy and he was like, you've got the DNA, you've got it. So when you were in college, were you still working with the animals? Have the animals been something that you've just been a non-negotiable your whole life?
It's been a non-negotiable. I've always been an animal.
Okay,
and to this day, I mean, like right now I work, I do volunteer work at the Virginia Zoo. I work at, like I said, I work at the farm, working with people's horses and their dogs and training service dogs. And then I also volunteer for the Norfolk Animal Care and Control. And I just take in animals that need to be fostered and need to be adopted and not euthanized, and or they're court case dogs that need some additional assistance.
Well, that's why I love, this is another reason why I love doing this podcast.
You never know what you're going to learn. That's good.
Right. Like, you learn so much about people. Like, I thought I knew you, and I do still feel like I know you, but I am learning.
But that's the whole point, is that you evolve. I mean,
well, it sounds to me like really bodybuilding and fitness training, like you're like it's the animals first.
It is, but
humans second.
Well, I like animals more than I like people, but
amen to that.
But the motivation is no different for an animal than it is for a person. The law of effect, it's a law of effect. I mean, if whatever you do, you need to, whatever the animal does, whatever the person does, you need to reward and get them motivated to do it for themselves. I know I've told you this before. I don't Velcro people to me, even in the gym. I want to teach them what they need for their body and how to get there. And if they want to check in with me periodically, I don't need somebody that's glued to my side and that I'm counting reps for. I want to fix the things that they need to have fixed so that they can walk into any gym and they'll be confident enough to know how to work out, what to do. And,
Right.
and the bonus is that if they want to compete, I'm happy for that. And
Right.
competition in this day and age has become vastly different. I think I still have aspirations to get back on stage. I've always kept my shape, but I've been through a lot since I last saw you. I got Rocky Mountain and Lyme, and at the same time somehow, and I ended up having AFib, and that led to a cardio version, which failed, and then that landed me a week later into a stroke. And then after that, but the doctors kept saying it's because I was so fit that I didn't have any deficits. And then I ended up going to Lima, Ohio, of all places, to have what was supposed to be a closed box ablation. And it turned out the spirochetes from the ticks were eating my mitral valve. So they had to open heart surgery. And then they cut my pulmonary artery. So I died on the table, came back.
Holy crap.
And, I mean, it's been a journey. It's definitely been a journey, but you know, I find that I'm resilient. I take everything in stride, and I think that God gives me these challenges,
yeah,
so that I can help other people. Because once I've walked in their shoes, I have a better feel for what they've dealt with.
I agree with you. In my same life, like you and I are different but very similar and really like and respect one another. And like you are a special person, and I don't like, I'm actually tearing up, but you're right. Like not everybody, oh my God, like I just can't believe the list of things that you've gotten to accomplish in this short life, right? But you are able to by walking in, you can understand. And it makes me think of one time in a training session, you had said to me, I was going through a lot of stuff at home with my son, and you said to me, thank God it's you going through this, because you know how to handle this.
Yeah, you do.
And I
You've got
was
a lot
right.
of grit.
Right.
And
I had gone through a lot of that world. I did know how to deal with it. And I thought of that several times when I would have to do interesting things that was off the parenting track. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Like you don't get a book for parenting, but it was unique situations, and I won't go into it on here, but, yeah, you encouraged me sometimes. You were like, it's you can do this. And you're like, yeah, I was like, yeah,
as women, we can do hard things. We just have to get our minds wrapped around what it is that we want to do and stay focused. For me, that probably is the hardest part, because I want to give myself to everybody and everything. And,
right. And the
sometimes,
animals.
yeah. And sometimes I leave myself out of the equation, which is the one thing that I constantly come back to and work on. But lifting weights, you can't do anything else but lift weights when you lift weights. So it gives your brain a break. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing how you will solve problems as you're lifting without even realizing. After the fact, you'll go, oh, I can this and this, and then it's a no-brainer. You'll figure it out. But if you didn't do that, you would just wallow in yourself, and you can't do that. I always believe that you have to. Giving is where it comes back to you.
Casca, I own I don't own. I do a show. I've only done one season. I haven't done the second season yet, but it's called Inquisition Unknown, and it's all about the question marks and craziness of the spiritual world and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Trying to find the answers. When you were declared dead on the table, did you see anything happening on the other side?
Oh yes, I did. And when I woke up,
talk about?
Well, it kind of would get kind of in depth, but when I woke up, the very first thing I said to my husband is, "I died, didn't I?" He looked at me like, "Oh shit, how did you know that?"
Wow.
But it was a very it was very uplifting, and it brought me peace for I mean, all my animals were up there, and it really it brought me a lot of peace, and I do remember the angel telling me, "You can't stay, you have to go back, you're not finished." And it was that was probably very tough for me, because I really was happy being, up there. So
Well,
Wow.
I know. Wow. I was hoping that you were going to say that, because that's what I've heard before from sources that say it's very comforting. And you said that you found peace.
you come back
And
with a totally different mindset. You're much more purposeful, at least I am. And I have this hunger to learn and do as much as I can, because I realize how short life really could be. And so I cram a lot of stuff in. And because I think one of the questions that you had posed to me was, what continues to motivate me? That motivates me for sure. But just the constant learning. And so now I have patients that have, or clients that have ALS and Parkinson's. So I've become very involved in those worlds. And I'm constantly hungry for more and more and more to teach them how to live with a disease and beat it as best they can. And then I have, older women, I have older men that just have lost their way, or have family issues, and have not believed in themselves for a long time. And by lifting, they all of a sudden they go, "Oh man, I did that," and then they're on their way. So it's just leading people down the path. It's really not, it's not my giving them anything other than teaching them how to use their bodies, and that they are stronger than they think they are.
wow. I'm so moved. I'm speechless. I really like this. I'm going to look at my cheat sheet here. It's so cool, because we're really getting this whole sheet. Like, this interview is great, if I don't say so myself. Thank you, Kasha. What does balance look like for you now? Like, because you do really have a lot of things on your plate. You're at the gym, you're in the pasture with the horses, you've got a new certification, you've got the dogs. I mean, how do you find
right
balance?
now,
You have family.
well, right now, yes, family is very important. My son is grown up and he's out of the house, but I'm still mothering him. And the challenge right now is it is still trying to balance things. But I find that when I get out in nature, and I'm very fortunate with the house that I live in, it's got a relatively small yard, but but I'm also a master gardener and a master naturalist, and I just got voted in to be president of the Master Naturalist Society. But I have chickens and bees, and I have the horse, and I have the dogs. And so anytime that I'm getting a little wired, I just do that. And it's very soothing, and it helps me come back to God and my faith, and because nature is all faith based. And so that's very helpful. And then I take care of myself. I work out every morning, and I eat well, and I pray and I meditate. I'm still teaching yoga at the base. And my classes are huge, and I get to meet people from all over the world. So it's really fun.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, life, it really can be fun. It does sound like you have, gosh, you have so much on your plate. I can't believe it. And so you're balanced out, and you're calling it fun. And that's the key. I'm so,
Well, it's the giving,
yeah.
because
When do you sleep?
I do sleep, but like, for instance, I collect oyster shells from a restaurant for Chesapeake Bay Foundation, and that's a once a week thing. I work in the butterfly house at Norfolk Botanical Garden. I'm volunteering at the zoo. I also did sea turtle nesting again this season for the Virginia Aquarium. And like getting out in the morning. So I usually get up like around 4:30, and I'm on the Croatan beach at like around 5:30 at the latest. And I take my little chihuahua with me, and we go either, right now we're just checking nests, but we were looking for sea turtle nests, and there's nobody out there. It's very quiet. It's very peaceful. And immediately I just feel good. And then I can plan my day and move on from there.
Gosh, I feel like such a loser. I will tell you this. I got rid of my TV out of my room.
Well, I have
because,
not had a TV
yeah,
in forever. So.
I bet you haven't, because there's no way. And like like you, I really want my life to have more purpose. I in the golden years now, and I've waited my whole life to get here. We're so lucky if we get here, right? You know, Ian's older now. And I'm single, so I can do whatever I want. The only thing,
Right.
is obviously, the wallet or whatever can hold us back. But I, like you, love nature, and nature is free. So
And
I'm fine.
I also paint and I draw and I do oyster shell crafts.
I wanted to ask you, you were dilly-dallying with painting and really finding yourself when we were training together.
I actually started an Instagram page, artist Kasha Winston or something like that. But and so I've got a bunch of my stuff on there. But and I just finished a really cool watercolor piece for my son for his apartment. So
I wonder if you're like alien. Some of us are just. What blood type are you? Do you have RH negative blood type?
People would say that I'm very strange. Yes,
but you're strange good. But you are really an achieving human being. Like
I cannot imagine being any other way. I need to produce. I need to be needed. I need to be thought of as being relevant. And if I don't have those things in my life, I'm not needed and I'm not relevant, then that puts me in an unhappy space.
What a great vulnerable thing to say. And I appreciate you saying that, because that's most of us. That's all of us. But I don't know if we can put words to it, and some of us more than others. And I think that's why I was so down and out. I felt needed, but I was just struggling. And a lot of it was like family issues, like dealing with what my age group is when you're dealing with parenting and or being a child to aging parents and mothering. It was just so much at once that I just kind of lost myself in there for a little while.
Unfortunately, as women get older, they kind of get passed over also. And that really bothers me, because I think a lot of women then take that to heart and then stop. They just don't do anything. And that's very sad.
I agree.
And I don't understand, frankly, I don't understand people. I mean, I'm old. I mean, I'm 74. So, I mean, people that just sit around and don't do anything to keep themselves active or giving of service or volunteering. And they're capable at that age, because they're not working, they're retired, this, that, or the other thing. But for me, I don't ever want to retire. I love working.
Yeah, me too. I find me and you are so alike like that. And I too like to produce, and I do like to do volunteer work. In fact, I was just getting ready, because now Ian's grown, and I'm like, all right, I can go back to the volunteering world. And I'm nervous because I want to get into the human trafficking, and I'm like, oh God, I don't know if I'm strong enough. You got to be strong, what you're going to endure when you're in those realms. Addiction, even working in the addiction world, can be a little hard, but I'm like used to that. That doesn't even really faze me. But I want to go back, take the fitness into the prisons. I've always wanted to do that, but I was so busy with parenting, and you and I both know that that's a full-time job. And I really took it serious, and so did you. And so, and I like you, take life serious too. I respect that about you so much, and you've got me. Yeah, you're somebody to look up to or strive to be, because you do get a lot in a day. And
I
we
do.
can do it if you get rid of the bullshit. Excuse my mouth. Like, I had to get rid of the TV. I have 2 books that I want to read, and I can't do it if that idiot box is on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I actually feel like the TV is very stressful.
Yeah.
I'm so adding to my things, I also run an Airbnb out of the apartment that's attached to our house that my son was living in. And that's the only place that there is a TV. And occasionally, my husband works out of town during the week. He comes home for the weekend. Occasionally on the weekends, he wants to watch TV. And I go in there and watch it with him, but I end up turning my face towards the couch and going to sleep in his lap because it's just too much for me. I just don't like it. And
I think it could be too much because of sensitivity reasons. Like,
it is, because I am definitely an empath, and I sense everybody's energies, and it's very draining sometimes.
Yeah,
And then, I mean, I have my moments. I've had 2 perineal tendon surgeries, and I'm getting ready to have my ankle fused finally. And so I get down. I definitely, but I refuse to quit. So I'm.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, yeah, you do refuse to quit. I want to talk about. I feel like you see me looking at my clock because I have a time limit with you. I mean, the longest I would go would be like 15 more minutes. Can I have that with you?
Of course you can.
I can. All right. I didn't know because I didn't want to take up time. So I'll relax a little bit. Let me, what's a defining moment? I'm going right back to the top. What's a defining moment from your competitive career that still fuels you today?
Probably when I did
favorite moments. Yeah.
Probably when I did the London Murray, and I won my class and won best poser as well. And my competition was really tough because it was a lot of females that were clearly on steroids, and
oh yeah,
they still chose me. And it wasn't that I wasn't tight and hard and whatever, but I didn't have that level of hardness. And
you could just tell.
Yeah. I mean, I'm standing next to this chick waiting to go on stage, and I looked at her face, and her jaw lines popped down. She's got very dark hair on her chin, and I'm just like, and then I looked at her glutes, and I was like, oh well, I'm thinking to myself, oh well, this was an experience, and in that show I did for posing routine, I did she-wolf, and I literally crawled across the stage, and it was a lot of fun. I just made it fun, and then when I won, it was like, oh wow, that's really fun and cool. So
well, I didn't. I think I sent a picture to Steve, but you're. It's clear to me why you won, and I bet your routines too. I bet your posing is really. I owe
Marvin
good.
Chappell and Vladimir a lot of kudos for both of those, because those guys could move like in ways that I could not, and I know how much I frustrated them because I have no rhythm, and but they put the routines together, and I got through it, and I did it.
I know,
and
Vladimir.
He's wonderful. Amazing. Yeah.
Did you ever meet Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes, I did. I went to the Arnold. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to go to the Arnold. I actually every time I go to LA, I got to go to LA twice last year, and I went to the gym because I really want to see him in the real world as a human. And he goes to Gold's Gym in Venice every day from 7 to 7:30, rides in on his bike with his guy gang in black socks, and he's a very normal guy, does the circuits now. And so I thought, if I could get over, because I love him so much, if I could not pee my pants and just act normal, that he would probably speak to me normally. Because the Arnold, they say it is hard to get any time with them, and it's so quick. It's just.
Well, at the Arnold Classic, he always makes time to talk to just anybody that comes up. I mean, he's a great person.
I know, they say he's so nice. It's just hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know, I figured if I ran into him in Venice that he probably really would talk to me. But when I got to, he was at the Jimmy Kimmel show. So he was in New York. Then another time I went and he was somewhere else. But if he's in town, he, like any of us, and he goes to the gym every day. And some
The other
guy even
two,
said to him, why? And he's like, it's all I know. Like, some people don't understand that for some of us, it's really kind of all we know.
well, it's not only that, but it's just the endorphins and
Mhm.
I don't know, but Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman are also two really great guys. I got to actually oil down Ronnie Coleman's legs at
Oh.
I think it was at a Linda Murray show. And, I mean, talk about tree trunks. It took like three of us.
Yeah. He is like amazing. Amazing. I feel like I've seen some pictures of him lately online, and sadly some of the guys are leaving, I keep thinking I don't want to miss out before I don't even want to say it. Like, I always wanted to meet Joe Weider so bad. Like, that was the guy that even brought Arnold here. And if it really, like, he was the one that really
That and
gave
Vince Gironda.
bodybuilding.
You
Who?
know, Vince Gironda.
I mean, yeah, I feel like I do recognize that name. You would know. I mean, I just was kind of always like a little fan, but yeah, I always wanted to meet him and Arnold, and I feel like I still have a chance to meet Arnold. I don't know if I'll be going to LA anymore, though. I have a bucket list. I'm getting older, and I really want to travel in the US, but LA, I've already been there, done that. It's not really, but if I ever go again, I will always go check in that Gold's Gym and see if he's there. Was it like coaching others? Oh, how do you like coaching? Do you really do you like coaching bodybuilding? No, this isn't a good question because I know the answer already. There are two different jobs. Like, I was going to say, do you like coaching bodybuilding versus regular people, or because there's such two different jobs? I take it that you enjoy both. I really don't even feel like asking.
I truly do love both. And the interesting part with training, quote unquote, aspiring bodybuilders is that most people think that that's what they want, but when they get down to it and it comes to the diet and then the dedication or the consistency with the workouts, they're not cut for that. But when they discover, but it's kind of an eye opener for them though, because they still get the body, they just aren't competing. And that's very satisfying. Yeah, because diet is easily 85 to 90% of it. And most people, like I said, they want it, but they are not willing to be as consistent or have as much grit and resiliency as they need. But like I said, it's okay because they'll discover that on their own, and then they will still have the benefit of a great body that they can then go out and show off in a bikini or a Speedo or whatever. And
right. I mean, there's no way that you're ever going to come out less than.
Oh no, I mean, no, you will not.
It's fantastic.
Because I won't take on anybody that doesn't really want it. And I'm not for everybody. I push people pretty hard, but I go through a progression, and as they progress, then I step it up. It's progressive overload, basically. So using, weightlifting terms, it is. People come in that are totally weak or that have imbalances. I've recently took on a bunch of ladies that play pickleball, and that sport is interesting to say the least. And a lot of them are very competitive, but they lack the strength that they need to actually move on the court like they want to. And I have one lady that has so improved that everybody else hates me because she's gotten so good because she's been working out with me. And they all come in and go, they just don't like it.
Well, you do produce the winners, so it doesn't matter what sport they're training for. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not surprised that she got a lot better. That's fantastic.
It's such an interesting sport, and the fact that it's almost encouraging you to try to be lazy during an athletic sport.
What do you mean, pickleball?
Well, yeah, because it's tennis, except that you don't have to move, you know?
Right, exactly. And but it's the social aspects I get. And then that's the other issue for me with women is that most women want to be part of a social group, and that's their fitness drive. I've always been very independent, and I like teaching women that they don't have to belong to a group, because I think that's when they do get kind of lazy, because then it's this group think mentality, and I want them to concentrate on them and their own needs. And I will train 3 or 4 people at a time, and that's fine. But you'll see me tweaking somebody's exercise different from somebody else's. And when somebody tries that, I said, no, that's not for you. That's for this person. And it works really well. But it's funny to watch people, absorb that. And then the other thing for me is that when I'm in the gym, like in the morning, and I'm training somebody and there's people in there, I'll see somebody doing something and I'll go I have to walk over and say, no, that's not what you want to be doing. And my clients are great with that. And typically people are really good about accepting, my critiques, if you will, or whatever. And then they're, I didn't know I could feel that muscle that way.
I know. It's making me I'm sitting here daydreaming going, God, I wish I could train for that. I don't even want to do a show. I just want to get back on that. It's very healthy to really pick apart, not necessarily just the bodybuilding, because it's not always have to be competitive. Just working on each muscle group that intentively is so good for us.
Me, no end. I love finding exercises that tweak little body parts that most people don't even realize they have. And then when they realize it, and I have another client that she is loving her body right now. And she walks in and she goes, look, I didn't even know I had this muscle.
I know, right?
And she works out part-time at Planet Fitness with her husband, and then she comes in at 6:00 in the morning and works out with me. And her husband noticed the changes so much, he started working out with me. And at first I wasn't sure how the relationship was going to go, but when it came time to re-up for sessions, I didn't say anything. And then he comes in and he goes, I love me some Kasha. I've got to re-up. I just have to, because I'm always learning something cool.
I'm so glad. So yay. That's fantastic. Getting people moving one person at a time, right? And it is. You are such a great coach. And so it makes me, what I'm realizing from this time together is that the animals have really been all along. And I don't know why I wouldn't have thought that. I knew that you grew up on a farm and the animal love, but I think of how we go off to school and you then you leave the home and no, that was still a part of your life. And then schooling, and then the humans kind of came in secondary. So somewhat. Of course you're good at training humans. You're great at training animals.
Well, I had to be strong to deal with a lot of the animals that I dealt with. So lifting for me has always been a basis for that. And even after my son was born, I used to carry him around in a sack, and then he would just toddle. When he was a toddler, he'd just follow me around, and he'd eat raw hot dogs out of my fanny pack as I'm training dogs. And he got to the point where he was like, "Platz, bleiben." That was such a joy. But I just never have stopped. I've always, and my son definitely takes after me. So it's kind of fun.
That's great. I wanted to, I can't wait to catch up on that kind of stuff that I won't do on the air, but it would be fun to catch up about our families and all that stuff. I'm not going to say that. We already talked about, oh, I like this one. What myths about aging and fitness would you love to bust wide open? What myths?
The biggest myth, I think or one of the biggest myths that I'd like to bust wide open is that menopause causes you to become fat. It does not. It absolutely does not. It is it is lack of movement, it's diet, and you do not have to put on belly fat because you're going through menopause. It's a choice. And people, because women and men too, but women particularly, I find that as they get older, they're unwilling to give up that wine, and that's what's causing the belly fat, or just not eating well, and then not exercising. Because for us, muscle is everything. Cardio queens drive me crazy because they're just tearing down any fat, any muscle that they have. Muscle is what burns more calories. I'm going to get on my soapbox, than any other muscle, than any other anything in your body. I mean, if you want to eat like you want to eat, then you have to resistance train. You just have to. It's an absolute must.
I agree. And I think for mindset too, like you said, going back to how like that time in the gym gives you a chance to shut down, because when you're lifting weights, you're lifting weights.
Right. You have to pay attention.
You can't be everywhere. And so even a woman like you that has a very full schedule, I bet you it's very annoying to hear somebody say they don't have time.
Yes, I won't deny that. Yes, it fries me royally. Yes, it does.
Yeah, they don't have time. That one always gets me. I even like I've ran into money situations, but I always laugh because the money, I don't have the money. And I remember mopping the gym floor to make sure that I could get in the gym. You know what I mean? So, I mean, me and you take things to an extreme, but it does always make me laugh because you'll see somebody pull up in a really nice car and they're like, just really tight on the money. And you're thinking to yourself, always picture myself with that mop, and I don't say anything to them. I just kind of laugh to myself. The time thing, that one always has gotten me too, because I stay busy, but you gotta make time for yourself.
I mean, mentally, if for no other reason than just mental decompressing, you need to take that time. And I would promise anybody that if they would just do, and it doesn't have to be an hour. I mean, 30 minutes of strength training will get it done, get out, get it done, get out. Don't talk on your phone. Don't
You used
socialize.
to tell me that. You used to tell me when I was training for that show, get in and get out. There's nothing, you see bodybuilders standing around in between sets and you're thinking, this is going to be like an hour and a half gig. No, it doesn't have to be. You can even still take your rests and still be in and out because you're just hitting the leg.
And if you're doing a large circuit, you're going to be doing enough cardio just doing that large circuit if you keep moving. And then my other thing is that work your legs, you work everything else. You work your core, you work your upper body, because you're going to be using weights in your hands, so you don't, and women in their legs and their butts are the biggest thing for most women. So, I tell them, you don't need to spot train, although they've shown that some spot training does change the fat dynamics. But if you work your legs, you're working everything else, and you're getting a cardio workout in right there.
Oh yeah, you restricted me because remember we were getting closer and closer to show, and I'm not a large girl, I'm petite, and we were trying to get more muscle on, and it was like no cardio, I wasn't allowed to do it, which was fine with me. Wasn't allowed to do it. Abs, remember, I'm the square body, like I have that more up and down shape. So we were, you do a lot of abs in the workouts. We were doing some things to try and whittle the waist, but always trying to get the lats bigger so that we would have that illusion
of the V paper.
Posing, sucking your tummy in, really getting that
vacuum
down is, God, talking to you makes me want to do it. And I had a gal on a couple weeks ago. She was like an influencer. She's a fitness girl too, fitness trainer in New Jersey, but more of an influencer, has a lot of followers. And she was like, I'm really getting into bodybuilding. I'm getting into bodybuilding. And I think that's what I want to do. And I asked her if she was going to do a show, and she said it on the podcast. So I was like so honored on my little show, because she's one of those girls in New Jersey that has some celebrity trainers being by New York and the Housewives. And then she's on Fox and Friends. She's, and on my little podcast, she said she's thinking about, but she was like, oh, hey, I'm going to call you. And I said, oh, no, you want to call my next week's guest. Because I had just asked you when I was on my way to do the interview with her. You had just said, yes, you would do it. And I was like, yes. And I was like, oh God, I have the perfect girl for you. But like I said, I mean, it makes me want to do it, because then she was like, well, I'm thinking about doing it now. I was listening to my head spinning. It would be fun to text back and forth with her, because I'm sure she'd have somebody there. But I mean, I could be training here. But we both know that you have to be willing to make a decision if you're going to do competition. It really is not about messing around, and you have to commit to the diet, which is the hardest part. It's doable though, ladies. It's all doable.
And it's better. It's more doable than most people think. And it's not all about eating broccoli or green beans and chicken breasts. It's really not.
No. And it's easier nowadays because of all the technology that we have. It is. You have to put the work in. But and so I don't want to make it sound like, oh, it's so hard. You do have to have the discipline. But the actual stuff to do is doable. I do recommend people get a coach, because they're like, oh, well, you're a trainer. What do you need? I couldn't have done that. People don't realize that there's bodybuilding coaches that really take you to that level. CrossFit competition, there's probably coaches that take you to a CrossFit game. I need people to know there are specialties in the fitness world too. Not
need that third
not
eye
everybody
is basically what it boils down to. You really do. You need a third eye. You need a third eye.
What do
So
you
you
mean
need
by
that. You need that outside objective person that looks at you versus you're trying to do it all by yourself. Because I guarantee that as the dieting gets closer and closer, your mind really starts to spin, and you need that person that's going to keep you on track, accountable, and that can objectively look at you and go, oh, that needs to be tweaked, or this needs to be tweaked, and let's try something different.
And I appreciate how you said the mindset too. I needed you not just for the tweaking and the diet. It was a lot of mindset stuff, because you do go through some head games, or the comparison now that we have to deal with the internet and all that. Yeah. Oh, it's so fun.
It is. It's a great.
Oh my
it's a lot of
God.
fun.
I know, it is really fun.
It's very addictive. So if you have an addictive personality to begin with, this could really set you over the edge.
Hello, my name is Karen Doherty. Did we just meet? Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to shake that, and I'm turned 59 now, and I'll hear myself in my head go, "Oh, just grow up." Like when I'm like, "Oh, I just want to watch one more." Right now, I was addicted to TV. It was ridiculous. That is an embarrassing addiction, but it can happen to anybody. So I don't mean to be so shaming to myself, but it's just like, oh my God, get a hold of yourself. Like, you're going to watch somebody else live their life. Right. You need to live your own. And I've been feeling so much better and getting more and more stuff, and me being more and more active, but I was still finding myself caught in front of the TV more than I want to admit. Even and the TV wasn't really substance. And when I had these two books one is on grief, it's a very serious book, and it's really helpful. It's not like you sit around and cry over it. It is talking about grief and how humans really don't know how to deal with it, and how it can get in the way of life. So it helps me with people that are dealing with addiction or stuff like that. I really need to dig into this book. And I was watching Love is Blind on Netflix, which is ridiculous love show. You know, it's like just the silliest stuff that's on TV and taking people's, or even scrolling on your phone. It's taking people away from what they could be doing for themselves. And that's what was happening to me. So now I've told on myself. So I definitely going to keep that TV out for the rest of the week.
All right. I'll text you at the end of the week and ask.
I know, please do, because it really was a problem. And maybe I'm not the only one. Like, I'm really good about getting my work done. I'm really good about working out. I eat right. I do a lot of things, but everybody has their thing, and addiction will sneak up on you in different forms. It's not just alcohol, drugs, sex. It's stupid TV for me right now.
For me, it's animals. If my husband used to complain every time he'd come back from a deployment that, okay, what new do we have in the house?
Right.
So, but now I just foster and board train. So.
But that does bring you so much joy. And I understand that, where I haven't been an animal lover my whole life. And it wasn't that I didn't like them. I just I didn't know how wonderful it was. And I didn't have time. And I don't know. But Maverick means so much to me. And so my love for him has made me realize how much I love animals. So I'm out in nature more, which I really always loved nature. But now I have that aspect to it where I love every being, every bird, everything means something now, where I didn't know that for probably the first 40 years of my life, like for the last 20 years, but Maverick I've had only for about 7 or 8. He's the one who really taught me the joy of animal love. There's nothing, it's so wonderful.
It is.
It really is. I apologize if I sound corny to some, but I know I don't sound corny to you, Kasha.
No,
it's really
you do not. You do not.
Rewarding love. It's like an honor, that they trust us.
Yes. Yeah.
And which gives me, I'm coming to a close here. My buzzer went off a little while ago, and how have the animals help with humans? And I have it probably written here. How does working?
It's the communication. You learn to see through their eyes, and that helps me see through other humans' eyes. It also slows you down because their learning is very different from our human learning. They are more contextual, whereas we tend to generalize. And so if I can get people to slow down and to focus, and same with the animals, I take my cues from them. So when I go out and I'm training my horse, I recently did something with a start-stop button for the farrier where I put a cone out, and if he touches the cone, then it's time for him to lift his hoof, and he'll hold it there for the farrier or for me to clean it. So I'm communicating with him, and then if he touches the cone again while it's lifted, then I back off, or the farrier backs off and he puts his hoof down, and then he'll touch it again when he's ready. So I'm giving him choices. And the same thing with the animals. It's not all about commands. It's about cueing. It's about changing their behavior through their emotions. And when people walk into the gym, I always have a plan A, B, and C, because I never know whether somebody's got an injury or a mental issue or a family issue or an illness. And so I'm very tuned in to that, and the animals have greatly helped me do that. I watch it work, and it's just so fascinating and so exciting every time I see it happen. And people laugh at me at the barn, but the farrier, he loves it because he doesn't have to work as hard.
I think it's fantastic. I feel like Maverick has made me a more loving human towards humans, because he's an animal, but he helped me. Yeah. Does that make sense? It probably makes sense to you, but I don't know if I verbalized it very well. But
it does, because if you allow them to teach you,
Yeah.
then
You
it's a
taught me.
two-way, it's a two-way communication. And that way, you know exactly what he needs and what he wants. And these dogs, even this, I have a 7-week-old puppy. I won't get into it too much, but she's a court case, and I just found out that her parents, whatever, her owners, did not show up for their seizure hearing, so she's going to be up for adoption. But this 7-week-old puppy already has learned so much because I gave her the space to be comfortable enough to tell me how she was feeling, what she needed, and so now she's so trusting that it's just fascinating to watch. And it's just like somebody left a board trained dog with me that's a Shih Tzu that nobody could touch its butt because it would nip. And when I showed them videos of him sitting on people that he doesn't even know, he was letting them scratch his butt, and the owner was like, "What?" But I let him tell me when he needed what, and then gradually, because he's somewhat blind and he's definitely deaf, and he was scared, and
Yeah.
it was all in the approach.
Yeah. Makes sense. I know. I think of Maverick like, wow, it's so cool. It's such a fascinating subject, and it's fascinating how animals teach us so much if you let them. And yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that because I was never around animals long enough to know it. I had a cat who I loved very much, but different place in my life. It's just, and it's funny. I've become as we mature, Maverick taught me to slow down,
Yep.
and how to take care. And like you said, listen, it's made me a better communicator with humans because animals can't talk. So you have to go on more how, like you said, eye contact, feeling, reactions.
It's
And
a whole body.
Chihuahuas, he's part Chihuahua. So they're a reactory dog,
Well,
So yeah, it's just cool.
yeah,
It's all very cool. And
I
has
watch.
it made me a better personal trainer? He possibly has. And I guess that's maybe what I was asking. And you answered that, yes, it does help you communicate with humans.
Yeah. I watch people walk in from the parking lot, and I can almost tell what's going on. And I have a Chihuahua now of my own, and he's my second one. And this little guy, I mean, people meet him all the time, and they go, "That cannot be a Chihuahua. He's not barking. He's not snippy. He's."
Right.
But it's all in how when I got him, he was 1.5 pounds, and now he's 7 pounds, and he's 2 years old, and he heels like a little Malinois next to my side, and he won't bark at anybody. He pays no mind to any other dogs or any other humans unless I allow him to greet them. I mean, he's pretty special, and he's taught me a lot.
I think Chihuahuas are anxious because nobody knows how to deal with them. I think what you have learned, right, is that he's not anxious, even though he's a Chihuahua, because he has an owner that knows how to deal with who he is. So yeah, that would make you a great coach with humans because we are able to verbalize. We might BS a lot, but you can see through that, because I kind of don't have to dig into that anymore. And I apologize if I got repetitive. I just wasn't sure if it was coming across. And that's so cool, Kasha. I love talk. That's a whole different podcast if you think about it. What message would you love to leave with listeners who are seeking transformation, whether it's physical, emotional, or spiritual? That's broad, but
well, I'd say believe in yourself, give yourself some grace, and take it one day at a time. Don't and you can have goals, but only share them with people that you know are going to support you, because there are so many naysayers out there when you express your goal, like, what, you're going to do what? And that's just not fair to you or to your journey. But that would be my biggest takeaways is believe in yourself and take it slow and have some compassion for yourself, because every day is not going to be rock star day, and you need to recognize that.
That's what I'm dealing with in my life. I just turned 59 and I'm so happy. I love aging because you get to have the wisdom that comes with it. And because I've exercised, I do have aches and pains just like other people, but I am aging a little bit easier maybe than someone that has never exercised or took care of
Right.
themselves. So I am enjoying the wisdom part of it. And that is, I love how you said that. That's what I'm trying to learn, to have more grace for myself, because I'm always like more, I'm never good enough. And I thought to myself, I'm like, I'm 59 years old. I've been through so much therapy. I've been through coaches, training. I have a lot of tools. I am not going into my 59th year going, I'm not good enough. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, and it's, some of this stuff has got to be scientific, where you know, like it comes from so early in childhood, or something so like one
Traumatic.
event when you're young that you just can't seem to erase it. It's ridiculous. And that's why, like, this grief book that I'm in, I think a lot of it is residual. And you just have to fight that. Like, you have to have more grace for yourself. You're a wonderful human being, no matter who you are. Like, people's behavior might not be great, but if you peel everything down, you know, God is good, we are good. And it's just, I'm getting too deep here. I'm fine. I'm getting
You
lost
need to
for
text
words,
me the
but
name of this book. You need to text me the name of this
it's
book. I'd love
called
to
The
look at it.
Grief. I will. It's really good because, and it was given to me from an attorney who was, we were talking about, I like to do coaching, like peer recovery. Like, I'm a peer recovery person, like help out when somebody's getting sober, when they come out of treatment. Like, what do I do next? Well, get in the best shape of your life. That's what you do. Am I a client? I mean, am I a counselor? No. And I don't want to be. And am I a sponsor? No. And I don't want to be, but I do want to be your coach. I do want to help you with the A, B, and C would be nutrition, exercise, blah, 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 mindset, making your goals smaller, like all the stuff that you and I pretty much do daily, but a lot of people don't have those tools or really understand them. And but anyway, this attorney, I was going to attorneys with this program, and he works with the Lift Foundation, and he was like,
Yeah.
you got to read this grief recovery book. And I was like, what? And he's like, you got to read it. I think it helps people with recovery and addiction. And I was like, okay. So I just did it for a career move. And oh my God, it made me go, holy crap.
There's a book I just started reading called The Courage to Be Disliked, and it's really good also. It's really good.
It sounds great. I will. I'm going to text you this. It's called it's like $8.99 on Amazon, and it's changing my life, but it takes a little bit, because then he checked in on me and he was like, hey, how's the book going? And he goes, but take your time answering. And then I realize now, because I've been 2 weeks into it. Now, granted, I turned off the TV. If I have to put it in the garage, I will, because I want to get through this. There's certain activities that go with it. And this is a whole nother podcast too. I don't want to go too long, but I just want to say that if you think about it, people don't know how to deal with grief. So nobody's ever taught how to do it. It's kind of similar with anger. A lot of us weren't taught. If our parents don't know how to deal with anger, then it's kind of, passed down that nobody. And I did go to anger management, not because I was in trouble or anything like that. I was about 30 going, I don't know how to deal with this explosive anger. So I did go to professionals. Well, the same with grief. Nobody really teaches any of us how to deal with grief. It's our culture kind of oppresses it. And I want to say in our culture, maybe in other cultures that's not true, but in our culture here in the US, no, a lot of, we're just,
losing a person. It could be losing an animal. It could be losing your physical abilities. I deal with that a lot with my
Yes.
Parkinson's patients because they, like the one lady used to be a runner. She can't run anymore. And,
Yes.
you know, that even how you look in the mirror,
Yes.
you have to be able to grieve and accept that that's past, but you're here now and you got to deal with what you got.
Yes. Thank you. You are so brilliant. And that's what it's about. This book teaches you that it's not just about losing a human. It, like you said, an appendage. My son got in a very bad car accident, and yeah, like he didn't lose he didn't lose anything, but he was in a wheelchair for 3 months. Even
Oh,
that
Lord.
trauma is grief, you know. So a divorce would be grief.
Yeah.
Not a divorce, a relationship of any
Anything.
kind.
Yeah.
Right. So, yes, thank you. That is the truth. So, that is a different podcast. Grief is one in its own. I don't really do that. I do fitness and wellness, but I can throw it somehow. I'll bring it in because there was a gal that was grieving and she was like, I can't really be on your podcast right now because I'm dealing with so much grief. And then that same week, this gentleman said to me, you should read this book. And I did get to send it to her. And maybe someday she'll be on the podcast and talk about grief. But you know what I'm saying? It's none of us really know.
There's a lot of women who had bodybuilding success and then they ended up with like a metabolic issue or something like that, and they cannot get back to that stage look that they illusionary thought that they could maintain, and the grieving is there. And I'll send you the name of a couple of other bodybuilders or figure competitors that I know that have gone through some major medical issues and have come back. They would be fascinating to talk to.
Oh, I'd love to have them on. Yes, because I am looking for people. We kind of book out about two weeks to a month out, and I've been doing more where I'm back on. Like I really was shy about getting guests for a long time. Steve kept telling me, get a guest. And I was shy and I was trying to get back out there, but I'm out now. And then
if you don't ask, you're not going to know. What's the worst that can happen? Somebody says no.
Right. And then I know it was the reaching out part. I just had become so withdrawn. It was really weird. It was not like me, but I did go through that. And I'm glad that I went through that because like you said, when you go through stuff, you can walk it and then you can understand it and you can see it in someone. You can go, oh, I see what's going on with them. I remember,
Yep.
you know, so yes, I'm grateful for it all now. And a lot of things I look back on too, and I'm like, God, I didn't really know I was so depressed because some things you don't get to know until you get out of it. And you're like, wow, woo, glad I made it through that one. I'm kind of a little bit like that too now. So, kind of looking in the rear view mirror or not looking in the rear view mirror, should I say, kind of looking ahead, looking forward to this 59th year, feeling mature, feeling calmer, slower. Thank you. Thank you. You do too. It is kind of good how this health and wellness has really turned out for us for aging. What a shock, right?
Yeah.
I know people need to know that. And even if the mirror isn't as friendly, the joints are way better off with some movement. The brain, you know, for me, it was a lot of brain fog with the menopause stuff. I feel for women going through that. But you're right. Menopause doesn't have to make you fat. It's a choice.
And menopause is forever. You don't get out of menopause. So once you're in menopause, that's the other thing people don't understand is that menopause lasts forever. I mean, until you don't. And
right. I know, because it's not like those hormones go and then come back. I mean, you've got to learn how to deal with that. And everybody is doing all these different paths right now, which is cool. I've been just doing the treading along, kind of letting my body do what it can. I didn't get to do hormone therapy. I'm not saying that I wouldn't, but I just didn't get to do that. And now I don't even feel like I need to. I am through that hard part. but I have gone way over time
I know,
with
and I'm
you.
sorry.
And no, don't you be sorry. I apologize. I don't want you to be like, oh God, I don't want to go on that thing again. She keeps me on too long.
It was great catching up. It's wonderful to talk to you, and I appreciate the opportunity.
And
I
appreciate
hope
it too.
the podcast made a difference for somebody.
Oh, I hope so too. Thank you so much. It made a difference for me, and I appreciate you so much, Kasha. I'll be in touch. Thank you.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
Kasha.
night.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Sorry, Steve.
All right, there you go. That's
I
awesome.
just kept going and going and going. Well, she's fascinating.
You're catching up.
Well, it was endless information for wellness too. It wasn't like it always gives me so much food for thought. Oh, what a night. Now the question is, should I compete?
Maybe.
Or
Maybe.
at least, I don't know, it'd be hard to train for something like that and not compete, because that's kind of the dessert.
All right, Sizzle. Good job. We'll see you next week.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.